Welcome to I Have the Power, a He-Man vidcast. From the secrets within Castle Grayskull to the horrors atop Snake Mountain, we cover everything Masters of the Universe, including action figures, animation, live-action film, and comics. With your hosts, Adam and Chris.
Welcome to another episode of I Have the Power, a Masters of the Universe podcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam, and with me is my co-host, Chris. Chris, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well. It's always fun to talk Masters of the Universe. It's been a while since I've done one of these. This is your first one.
Yes.
Talking Masters of the Universe. But we actually have really cool stuff to talk about. So it's time to present one of these. So here we are. We haven't, as I said, this is your first one. We haven't had you on this particular show before. And if things go the way we hope they go, this will be the first of many. But given that it's your first one, give us a little bit of your background in terms of your Masters of the Universe fandom. Like, how did it all start, and when did it start?
Yeah. The first Masters of the Universe thing I ever saw was the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I, to this day, love that movie.
Me too, yeah. It's not accurate.
It's not accurate. It's not great,
exactly,
but
yeah.
I love it.
Right.
And you know what's funny is I didn't even realize for the longest time that He-Man and Prince Adam switch. I thought he's just always He-Man because of the movie.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to him, and then after that, I guess I realized the cartoons would play like reruns and whatnot. So I'd seen a lot of the old '80s one, and I don't remember the name of it because I think during that time there were a few of them, but the version of him that was like in space or something,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, no, I get it. There are some people that like it. It wasn't for me, but yeah, just because I grew up around
with the proper
original,
one.
So then I was like, why is he in space? What are we doing?
I thought it was cool, and I had the toys for it, so that was actually one of my favorite action figures.
Yeah.
That and my Batman, so it was cool for me.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of followed it as things are going on.
Did you see the 2000 reboot? That was, I think, 2 seasons long. I think.
I've seen some of it. I've actually been meaning to go back and watch all of it because that's the one I believe that introduced Keldor, right?
Yes, the idea of Keldor.
Yeah, I really want to go back and watch that because we saw a glimpse of it in the Netflix one.
Mm-hmm.
I was already familiar with it anyway, but I just like that idea. I think it's very cool.
Yeah. No, I do want to do a rewatch maybe as we're leading up to the film. That's something that I plan on doing. But yeah, so that's good. It's good to have a little bit of a sense of your fandom as we get into this. So, as Masters of the Universe fans, we know there is a new movie coming. The last time we talked about it on this show, we covered Travis Knight as the director and Nicholas Galzine, I think that's how you pronounce it, as Prince Adam / He-Man. And that's all we pretty much knew the last time we talked. But things have been moving in the positive direction, and this is the furthest along any live-action Masters of the Universe project has gotten since the aforementioned 1987 movie that actually came out.
Isn't that something?
Because we had more casting. Now, I understand, and the reason I say all this is because as Masters of the Universe fans, we have, and I'm not trying to make light of anything, but we have kind of a entertainment PTSD, if you will, with this franchise, because how many times have, hey, here's a movie coming, here's your He-Man, and then radio silence, nothing, and then it goes away, and they cancel the movie. I mean, it's every single time.
I think even that version with was it his name Noah
Centineo?
Yeah, like when they announced, I was like, okay, we'll see if it happens. Like I knew the animated stuff was coming because that was Netflix. Like that's happening. This other thing, man, I'll believe it when I see it.
Which was it was at Netflix at the time, and then he left because he chose to do Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure that was the best career choice either for him, but because the hierarchy of power did not change. Just for FYI,
He didn't get the power, that's for sure.
yeah, and then it went briefly. Kyle Allen was cast in as his replacement, but then Netflix says, "Yeah, we don't want to do this anymore," and that's when where we are now. Prime, Amazon MGM stepped in, took over the rights, and they are the ones spearheading this iteration of the project now. But we do have some casting updates. So we have our Teela in the form of Camila Mendes, who is most known for her role on Riverdale. I think that's where she's most known from. That's where I saw her. That's where I know her from. And I watched that show briefly and sparingly. I think I watched the first 2 seasons. And I liked her in it. And then I remember checking back in with that show a couple of seasons later, and it got weirder, like really weird. But she was able to play the weird stuff, so it seems like she has some versatility there.
I've never seen it, but I've always heard a mixture of opinions about the show. What I know her from was an Amazon movie called Upgraded, which was a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
And I love rom-coms, first of all. Some people know that.
Good to know,
yeah. She was really good in that. She's also in Palm Springs, which is another thing I knew her from.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I know her from the popular thing that she's in. I know her from the secondary things.
Which is almost better, because then you can...
Yeah, and I don't associate her with... who is she on Riverdale? Betty? Riverdale's like...
She's not the blonde one. Because in the Archie comics, there's the blonde one and the
yeah, it's Betty and Veronica. I don't know which is which, though.
The dark-haired one. Me neither. I can't remember. I think she was Veronica. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't associate her with that already. To me, she was just the characters I've seen her as, which were one-offs.
Sure.
You know, just watch it and go. And I thought she's really charismatic in those things I've seen her, especially Upgraded because she's the star. But very charismatic. I am curious what kind of Teela we're getting, though. I say that because I think the Kevin Smith, Sarah Michelle Gellar Teela was pitch perfect.
Sure, I agree. Yeah.
That was a strong kind of female character. And I'm wondering if that's what we're getting here, or if we're getting more of a, I don't want to say love interest kind of Teela, but you know what I mean.
A mix of both, but not like, I get what you're saying. I think, like I said, I think
I say that because she's a smaller lady.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be a mix of both, but she won't be as, because in the original show, remember, He-Man would always end up saving her.
Yeah.
And she'd almost morph into a damsel in distress in a way.
And that's what I like about Kevin Smith. She's not that.
So I don't think we're going to get that in 2024, because I don't think you do damsel in distress-esque kind of character in 2024. So I think it'll be more along the lines of what Kevin Smith did, with the love interest kind of elements from the original series. So I think they'll take pieces of it.
Power couple.
Pieces of both. Yeah, right.
You know where my mind went for a second, though? Kim Basinger is Vicky Vale when he said damsel in distress.
Right, yeah, which was, I mean, she screamed more than she spoke in that movie, but I digress. But so, and again, it's not like I had, the funny thing is I didn't have, like, her casting came out of left field, because I don't even know that I had a definitive choice in mind for Teela. So, but she wasn't on my list, and well,
is there a pen click coming?
Where's my did I lose the where's the pen? I gotta put there it is. She wasn't on my casting list for Teela at the time, but she is on the Multiverse Wives list. So
There
here's
we
the
go.
thing. But but oftentimes I think the not obvious choice works out.
We're not casting directors. That's why we should get
Right.
it.
Because
We
I would
along
look
for the
at
ride.
it and try to find a redheaded actress just because, hey, okay, here's the image. Let me sift through redheaded actresses, and that's what fans do. We see a bald guy, hey, that'd be good for Lex Luthor. For
Everybody's
years
Lex Luthor.
I kept hearing Vin Diesel, and it's like, but no, that was me. But I kept hearing that because he's bald. But anyway,
Shame on them.
but anyway, so I think again, depending on the material she's given, I think she could do the job. Uh, I think what I'm encouraged by is she is working out. We've seen she's posted videos of that on her Instagram. And here's the even better part that I like. She's gone back and is reading the comics, various comics. And look, a lot of actors could say, "This is it's based on a cartoon, on a toy line. Just whatever's in the script, I'll do. Just give me my paycheck." But a lot of actors could easily do that. But she seems to be going the extra mile of, look, I'm going to read the books. I'm going to familiarize myself.
There's something to be said about enthusiasm for a role, especially now, because I'm not going to drag any projects under the bus, but there are a lot of cases where you will cast an actor, an actress, get a director who don't care about the source material.
Yeah.
And you get what you get out of that. I'm not dragging anything under the bus. I'm just saying it's a different situation. And with this one, I'm not incredibly familiar. Like I said, I've only seen the two things. I like her. I don't know what they're going to do with her, but I'm excited. And let's just see what she does. I love the enthusiasm, though, especially like there was that article where I think it was an interview. Remember she had to drop out of a project to do He-Man?
Yeah.
And she mentioned He-Man was the important thing to her.
Yeah.
Reading that just made the fanboy heart swell.
She could have easily said no to Masters of the Universe and stuck with, especially given all the troubles the project's had in the past.
Yeah, that's
she
another
could have
thing.
easily said, why am I going to risk it when I have this thing that's going to go, that I know is going to go? Why would I risk that? And I'm sure she's not on a play deal where she's not Nicolas Cage when he did Superman, where he got paid whether it shot or not.
Right.
So it's not. She doesn't have that security net there.
She's got the Batgirl deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really, and again, I know fans early on in her casting were freaking out because she doesn't have red hair.
Oh, they were freaking out? I didn't see that.
There was some of it, not as much, which I'm glad for.
Guys,
again, folks,
come on.
Hair dye or a wig. It's very simple.
Or just leave her hair the way it is. Who cares?
At the end of the day, it's the portrayal of the character and the characterization in the script that's more important than what's the hair color.
And we're talking about a 30-year-old animated series.
Yeah, but fans are going to fan, and some of them.
I get it to some degree, but still.
But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to her, to what she brings to the table. We've also had another casting in the form of Alison Brie as Evil Lyn.
Yes. By the way, before you do it.
Yeah. I'll do, again, I mean, folks, look, I mean, just Google Alison Brie, and if you need me to do this just for the sake of,
should we do it on 3?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, so yeah, she's on the list, and I think, to me, this is the most inspired of the casting so far.
Oh, okay.
Like, I love it because this actress is not one that you think of in the hyper villainous kind of role. Right? I've never seen Alison Brie really in that in that space. But instantly, the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna work. Um, uh, Look wise, she can definitely pull it off. Um, and again with her, Chris, I just see like an enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
She's also posted to Instagram where she's reading the source material. I don't know whether they were sent to her or she went out and bought them,
Either way,
but she's got like 5 different Evil Lyn figures now in her collection.
that's cool. I didn't see that.
She's got 4 more than I do, damn it. But um, so and she recently did an interview where she says the reasons she signed on were because the script had a really great take on the material. She says Nicholas Galzine is a great actor and she wanted to work with him, and she's excited to bring the Evil Lyn Skeletor dynamic to life on the big screen.
I love that.
So again, we're seeing the excitement from the actor involved. We're seeing the willingness to go in and do the extra homework. Where again, she could have easily said, "This is a project based on a toy line / cartoon. Why am I going to go the extra mile? I'll just do what's in the script. I'll say the lines and collect my paycheck."
And with Alison Brie, I would say she's more of a name than Camila Mendes. So,
Sure.
like for her, she really didn't need to do any research if she didn't want it, because she's a name. People know her; they know her face.
Yeah, I agree.
Different ball game.
But I think it's great casting. I'm super excited for it. Now, speaking of Skeletor, there is no confirmed casting as of this recording for Skeletor. I'm itching for that casting.
Yeah, that's what I want. Especially since we have Evil Lyn now.
Yeah, part of me started getting nervous when that it still hasn't come down down the pipeline, but I'm getting it's not out of nervousness of they haven't announced it yet, something's going wrong with the project, because there's enough examples to say that I knock on wood, I think we're okay this time.
I think so too. We got enough going for it, and like I really think Alison Brie is a great sign. Yeah. Not just because she's a name, but that's pretty deep into the cat. If we have an Evil Lyn, I think that means something. Yeah. And Alison Brie is wonderful. Yeah. I think she's a fantastic choice. So I wouldn't worry about it.
There's another reason, two reasons. The CEO of Mattel and the head of franchise management for Mattel have both spoken incredibly excitedly and rash about Master of the Universe, the movie and the IP as a whole. Yep. So when those two levels, that hierarchy, to go back to that word, when those two levels of the bigwigs are talking about a project, they have a lot riding on it this time. Whereas before, you never really heard the higher ups. When it was on Netflix,
didn't care.
Nobody talked about it. It was like, what? Well, yeah, it's a thing, but who knows, right? You never.
Though, I am curious about something with the Skeletor casting. We know it's coming. We know that. But what I'm wondering is, do you think it's harder to get an actor to commit to Skeletor because there's just no way the actor's face is going to be shown? You can't do a human Skeletor
first.
Right, which I don't think we're going to get. I think we're going to go straight to Skeletor because that makes sense. So do you think that might be part of the delay?
But certain actors actually like the whole aspect of let me disappear in the prosthetic and
just let me do my thing.
Like Colin Farrell, he was uncomfortable, but he loved the idea of I'm a totally different person as the Penguin. Like I look completely different. It's not me Colin Farrell. It's Oz or whatever. And he
Who is
enjoyed.
Oz? I only know Oswald.
Yeah, he enjoyed.
Well, the rumor,
Because,
the Jared Leto rumor for
you know, I mean,
Skeletor.
we could bring it up. I mean, there's been one rumor from one source, and that source is Jeff Snyder, and he's 50-50 at best. I don't care what anybody says. He was the only one that reported this, but he reported about maybe 2 weeks after the Alison Brie casting that Jared Leto had been offered the role of Skeletor. No word on if he accepted. Uh, Nobody else picked up on this. The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, none of them picked up on this and followed up on it. This is purely Jeff Snyder. So I'm going to take it as right now pure rumor. But if hypothetically, let's pretend this is true. I do not hold Jared Leto's Joker performance solely as he was the problem.
So you would say you have no beef with his?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that, but yes, I have no beef with his performance. There were so many reasons why that whole franchise was a mess.
Yeah.
For several reasons. So I don't 100% blame Leto. If Leto is cast, does he have the acting chops to pull off Skeletor? Yes. Do I see him accepting the makeup and the prosthetics and fully disappearing in the role? Yes. And maybe he wants vindication. He's like, look, I got to play one of the best villains, in the history of villains, which was Joker. It didn't go the way I think anybody wanted. Let me try my hand at another one of the because Skeletor is a well-known villain in pop culture.
I have to say Skeletor is, like, if we're talking pop culture villains, comic book, whatever, he's got to be in the top 10 somewhere. Skeletor is a big deal.
Yeah. So maybe there's an element of I could sort of quote unquote redeem myself with that. So again, I'm not opposed to Jared Leto if it's him. And look, if it's him, I could kind of see them doing Keldor because I would actually like to see that. Keldor. Yeah, but I could see Keldor in Jared Leto. Like look wise, I could see it. So
with the hair and stuff like that that works.
Yeah. So it's
Morbid time, yeah.
And they could be like, okay, here for 20 minutes of the movie, we'll let you be Keldor, and then it's full.
I'd even be okay with like flashbacks dispersed throughout the film.
Sure, yeah, I'm not. Yeah. However, Travis Knight wants to.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I
mean, he's a far better director than me, given that he's directed several things and I've directed a shit ton of nothing.
If it was me, I'd just have them fight for an hour and a half and we're done.
Dude, I'd smash up the toys and be like, do that just for 2 hours.
Yeah, do that.
And action. But yeah, so we'll see. But we'll see if that comes to pass or if it's somebody else. But I think they will go for a name if they can, regardless of who.
I think that is the way to go.
Leto or not.
I think a name for Skeletor anchors the project.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I'm good with that.
And just a couple of like crew member updates. I was looking on IMDb. Now I don't know how accurate this is, but Fabian Wagner, who was the director or the cinematographer for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it looked.
Oh yeah, I think this is confirmed. Yeah,
it looked good from a visual,
Mm-hmm.
He's on board as the director of photography.
I believe that's confirmed because I saw that a lot.
Yeah. And then production designer, according to IMDb, is Guy Hendricks Diaz, who was the production designer on X2, X-Men United, and Superman Returns. But I will say, from a production design standpoint, the Daily Planet, et cetera, The look of Superman Returns was pretty good. So if those two guys are involved, if those are accurate, I like those choices. And we also have an update from a site that usually is on point with their Motu scoops. For Eternity is reporting that, let's see here. Barry Gore is the makeup effects. The head of the makeup department, and he's worked on projects ranging from Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, The Witcher, and The Last of Us.
A lot of experience.
So if he's designing Skeletor, sign me up for that.
I am so curious to see what Skeletor is going to look like.
I mean, that's pretty much what we have so far. We'll be back with more of these as we get more castings and as the start of production gets going next year. So Chris and I will be back and we'll talk more about this stuff as we have it. But so far, there's a lot to be excited for, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for this movie because I've been waiting since I was 4. It's been since I was 4 since I saw this character in live action. I'm now 41. So it's time. Skeletor, at the end of that movie, Skeletor promised he would be back, and this is the longest I've waited for anybody to come back, probably ever. I'm ready for this, and I'm excited. And I put all my trust in Travis Knight, who gave me one of my top 3 Transformers movies. So I've got nothing but excitement. Any final words before we wrap up?
I'm just excited. I like everything we've heard so far. I like the casting so far. I am just really excited for this to come back to the screen because I also have been waiting quite a while.
Yeah.
Not as long as you, though. Yeah, but I've been waiting.
Yeah, well, that's only because you're younger than me. So that's the only reason why. But yeah, again, we'll bring you more updates as we have them. But exciting times are here, and stay positive, and know that we'll be back with more news when we have it. But until then, you can talk Masters of the Universe with myself or Chris on social media. Chris, where do they track you down?
You guys can follow me at thatchris70. I do a bunch of different stuff. Just follow me there.
Awesome. If you want to follow me, it's at Adam_DeesFan on Twitter. We also have a Facebook group for the podcast network, which is listed in the description below. Click that, and I will add you. We can continue the conversation there. But until next time, so long from Good Dreaming.